curious case. Here is the bird who greets the dawn. Normally it's the rooster, the male early bird that greets the dawn, but this is a she rooster who greets the dawn every morning with the big old why don't you all sing it? Oh, good morning. Good morning. So every day, Early wakes up. She searches for her worms, for her grains and seeds. Isn't she just marvelously beautiful?
Yes, she is.
We think so, and so does the bird watcher. But today, Early is having a bit of a difficulty finding her worms. Oh, shucks. Not every early bird gets the worm. It's not like they say.
Oh.
And she goes about her day laying her quota of farm-fresh, cage-free organic eggs. She pecks at some grass. She clucks and gobbles, goes to yoga in the evening. Even with a hungry stomach today, a wormless day. And every night before going to bed, she crows a good night song too, and everybody can sing it with her. Good night, Early. The sun sets. Early goes to bed. And the next day comes, and Early rises again in hopes of finding more worms today than last. She still struggles to find these worms, and so she had this bright idea to get up even earlier on this day. So she's a bit ahead of the sun. She pecks, and maybe today she does find an extra grain or seed. And she says, tomorrow I will do the same. And being before the sun, she still waits till her appointed time to sing that primordial tune, that cockle-doodle and that do, that honky-tonk wake and shaker, that get your cowboy boots on and sing, swing, dance, and holler, everybody. And somebody else noticed that she got up a bit earlier today. Yes, our friend, our rosy-cheeked, rosy-hatted friend, made good note of it in his bird journal, ever so observant. Here he comes, the bird watcher. An interesting fellow. Goes to bird club in the evenings, picks his nose hairs in the mornings, writes down everything he sees about birds, and he says today, upon seeing old Early up so early, how intriguing! Most fascinating and wonderful. The early bird is up 14 minutes earlier than the last day. Wow! The lads at Bird Club will be simply delighted. And not only, friends, did the birder take note of the bird, but the bird takes note of the birder. Something about his rosy cheekedness and her rosy feathers, they felt some sort of kinship that was hard to describe.
Oh.
She could see his red rosy cheeks, and they became even rosier when he saw her looking back.
Oh, no.
And another day went on. Early went to her yoga class, and she headed off to bed. And night fell. Now, friends, we have talked of the morning people, the early risers and the early birds, but there is another realm in this world. There are two sides to every coin. And just as there is the early bird in the morning, there is the late bird of the evening, the night owl. And the night owl has his song too. If you know it, you can sing along. It goes... This is the night owl, the king of evening, the lord of the nocturnal, the wise and strong-spined bird whose eyes pierce the depths of night and whose head has the miraculous ability to turn a full 270 degrees. But this fateful night, the night owl's kingdom was ever so slightly disturbed by our two cherry-colored protagonists. After waking earlier and earlier every day in order to get those truly early worms, it just happened that the early bird began waking in the night. And now another bird, the owl, was not so disturbed by, but this bird watcher, this human. The night owl says, who is this? Who is this? A bird watcher human stomping on my nightliness? Absolutely preposterous. And now, if this were just a one-time thing, the night owl may let it slide. But it kept happening day after day, night after night. The domain of the owl was disturbed, that he could sit in his tree in perfect silence no longer. He could not stand this intrusion into his arena of darkness. So, the night owl proclaims, I tolerate their daytime nonsense, but this I shall not have. It is now 2 weeks, 14 nights of this intrusion. And I cannot stand that smelly, stinky human. We must do something about it. And so he calls in his henchmen. The liminal hours woodland creatures, fox, raccoon, and bobcat. This council met indeed far away from the peering binoculars of the bird watcher and the long beak of the early bird. And they hatched a plan, a secret, evil, and nefarious plan. They decided that pesky human had no more place in the woods of the night. They chattered and murmured and rubbed their hands, and slowly they were so excited they broke into a wild dance.
Woo! Get it.
Gleeful for the fate of this poor human, soon to be fed to their good friend, Old Brown Bear, to be part of his supper time stew. They disperse into the night, and they lay in wait. Now, the sleep schedules of our friends, the early bird and the early bird watcher, they have been changing as they've been getting up so much earlier. But still they dream. And tonight they dreamed a fateful dream. The same dream, so it would seem, though they would have no way to know about this. Bird watcher. In this dream, the early bird and the bird watcher were soaring high above the sky and high above a great dark blue sea. The wind was at their backs, and they were gliding effortlessly. They were some magical birds called albatrosses. These birds are majestic in flight and mysterious symbols of the ocean. They're good omens to sailors. They can fly hundreds of miles without flapping a single beat on their wing. And these birds are magical for another reason, that they partner for life. They can live 80 years together as bird and bird, sometimes female bird and female bird together, taking care of a family for decades. And in this dream, our rosy friends dreamed that they were among these majestic birds, soaring with a flock of many for a journey of many hundreds of miles. And they knew in that dreamlike way of knowing that they must travel to learn their sacred dance to find their mates. We don't know where this dance comes from, and neither do they, but each one must take their journey to find that dance and to find that mate. And in this dream, they found their dance and they found their mate. They found the one whom they would dance for, and they danced their hearts out for one another. And in that fast, strange flow of dream time, their love blossomed, and they lived 99 long dream years together in And it was in this state of lovely reverie that eventually our early bird and our bird watcher woke once more, knowing nothing of the nefarious plans about to be laid on them by the night owl and his woodland henchmen. So our dear bird watcher is a faithful follower of that proverb as well, that the early bird gets the worm. And so he was always up just a bit before the early bird herself. The ever-observant owl noticed this and used it to take advantage. While he was sipping his tea unawares, in came the woodland creatures of the liminal hours before the early bird could know anything about it, and he was whisked away. There was hardly a rustle from any other creature at this hour, and so he was taken completely by surprise. Before his fourth footstep out the door, he was whisked away to the middle of the forest, who knows where except the owl and his council. And a few minutes later, just too late to have caught any whiff of this nefarious doing, rose our early bird. Oh, what a strange dream it is I just had. I was flying like never before, I'll say. And these bags under my eyes, too, I'll say. Boy, it's hard getting up so early. I must be near on the perfect time for worms now, though, that I'm sure of it. And so she pecks the worm, pecks the ground for worms. This day now finding enough to sustain her and her family. But she noticed today, her rosy-cheeked admirer was nowhere to be seen. Where is that mustachioed lad of mine? He must have missed that alarm clock. I guess I am getting up early and early. Well, shucks. But still that dream troubled her. Despite not seeing her friend, she soon forgot and thought, well, I best go see the owl about that dream. Maybe he'll know just what it means, and maybe, just maybe, it has to do with my friend in the pink hat, too. So early goes to the depths of the forest where the night owl lives. The night owl, known as a wise being and interpreter of dreams, comes to give his wisdom. Oh, Mr. Great Horned Owl, oh, sharp-eyed, silent-winged one, oh, wisest being of the wood, I have a dream to tell you about. Go on, rooster, go on. And early bird tells him of the dream. I was another bird, soaring high above the great blue ocean. My feathers were black and white, my wings were long and smooth, and the ground below was dark blue as far as I could see. When I awoke, I was sad for it to be over because I found my love and we danced together and I wished it to be real. Oh, owl, what does it mean, this dream? The owl was silent for some time and then said, my sweet red child, This dream, I do know what it means, and it pains me to hear. You have lost a love. This is a vision of the past, a dream of the past, and oh, now the owl, you see, realizes his mistake, that he has done wrong in separating the two lovers, but he has no time. Oh, you have no time, my red friend. You must go to the center of the wood. Your rosy-cheeked bird watcher is about to be devoured by Brown Bear in his supper-time stew. You must fly! You must fly to your friend and save him! Early was roused to action. She didn't quite understand all that business about the dream, but she knew the owl was right and she had to save this man. She pecked away at his chains and he was free, and chaos broke out. The woodland creatures came, realizing that Brown Bear would be most upset if he did not have his human in his supper-time stew, and so they chased after the bird watcher and the bird together. And it was as if chaos broke out in slow motion. Now the raccoon and fox are not very practiced in archery, and so they were firing willy-nilly, arrows all over the place. Almost all of them missed, but one raccoon arrow found its way like a bullet, not for the human that was meant for the stew, but instead it struck down the early bird. The bird watcher ran on, and only once glanced back to see his beautiful red friend motionless on the ground. Tears fell on his rosy cheeks as he made it to his door and locked it safely behind him. 3 more days would pass before the bird watcher got up the courage to step outside again. He only did so once he managed to convince himself that his capture by those liminal hours woodland creatures was something of a dream and not real, that woodland creatures couldn't talk or tie someone up or make a stew out of human. And eventually he resumed his birding at his regular daytime hours, his regular plucking of his nose hairs and his regular note-taking. But there was a cloud that hung above him, a cloud of sadness. After sitting at his usual spot, watching birds from dawn to dusk, there was no sign anymore of his favorite red early bird. The next day he went out for a walk to the center of the wood, where the early bird lay. And he placed a large stone on the spot to mark her grave. Now, it is a fact that a well-placed large stone won't move for many years if you know just where to put it, and this stone would stay there for a very long time. After the passage of time, many years, when our mustachioed, rosy-cheeked, and tender-hearted bird watcher still had enough pep in his step for a stroll to the center of the wood, the stone was still there, and he felt called to visit it when that very same dream occurred to him, that he was a bird, a white-winged, smooth-feathered albatross flying over the ocean. He didn't know why, but it reminded him of that early bird, and so he visited her place of death. He became wistful for the feeling in that dream, so he sat near the stone in the center of the wood for a long time that day. And when the sun finally painted the sky pink and gold, he was blessed by the visit of a magnificent bird who rarely traveled there. It was a great blue heron. It soared by the man in the stone, through the woods towards the great blue sea, and tears dotted the cheeks once more of our rosy-cheeked bird watcher, but this time there was a smile beneath them. So the story ends, our friends. The birdwatcher may never see his love again, except maybe in his dreams. But still the birds soar and sing and fly. Thank you.